Wednesday, September 9, 2015, marked 6 years since the devastating fire at St. Jude's Hospital. 3 lives were lost that fateful night as the surgical wing went up in flames. In the aftermath, St. Lucians rallied both here and abroad. Donations poured in and plans for the reconstruction of the medical facility got underway. A temporary home was found at the George Odlum National Stadium, but what should have been months of stay turned into 6 years and now 7. On this, the anniversary of the tragic event, we look back at how it came to this.
9th September 2009, a night that will long be remembered by St. Lucians and by the people of Vieux-Fort in particular.
Rising from the ashes, rebuilding the love.
The fire at St. Jude on September 9th, 2009 unleashed a tsunami of support from the St. Lucian public, who responded seconds after the blaze started. Support poured in the form of donations from individuals, from local, regional and international agencies, foreign governments and the private sector, including Hess Oil, who donated $1 million towards equipment and infrastructural work at St. Jude Hospital. St. Jude Hospital continues to receive support in cash, in kind, and in the forms of supplies and equipment. The fire, which destroyed the surgical wing of the St. Jude Hospital, reignited the spirit of giving in a community that has been built on the concept of Kudme. Volunteerism and partnership is the legacy left behind by the Sisters of the Sorrowful Mother and the Catholic Church, a legacy that will linger for generations.
When a country receives assistance from other countries, when a country receives donations from other countries, the litmus test is whether that donation is going to change the quality of life. And in the case of the hospital at Vieux-Fort, in my constituency, in St. Lucia, the answer is undoubtedly yes, because you're providing critical and crucial medical services to people who are badly in need of those services.
The new hospital will be funded by the government and people of St. Lucia, as well as private and public donors and financiers.
It's time to rebuild that hospital because the nation needs that hospital.
Because people used to come from different parts of the island to come to St. Jude's.
Well, it's important for the community because all of us have been going through it since when we were small, and they help a lot of us.
I want to be a part of the team member working there to contribute. I don't mind, I spent 3 months working there just to say that I contribute in helping to rebuild St. Jude Hospital, because it is going to be one of the best in the island when it's finished.
I find that St. Jude's Hospital is very, very important hospital to us.
I know it has served both the rich and the poor. We have people from St. Vincent, we've got people from Castries, we've got people from all around the island.
I think that St. Jude's is important because it has helped many persons.
Everyone's about this urge, from the ashes the phoenix will emerge.
The St. Jude Hospital fire was a tragedy which saw loss of life and a disruption to the provision of health service. But it now provides an opportunity to modernize and revolutionize healthcare in St. Lucia, the OECS and beyond. It's the dawn of a new day.
Now, work on the St. Jude Hospital reconstruction project began during the latter half of 2010. The project comprised 5 components: demolition works in relation to the surgical building, reconstruction of the surgical building, demolition and replacement of the roof structure for the east and west wings, renovation of the east-west wings and the ancillary building, and installation of support services that would be water storage, sewage treatment, and inventory management. The St. Jude Hospital reconstruction was earmarked for completion before the last quarter of 2011. Mistakes were reportedly made along the way, and the then UWP regime was booted out of office. The incoming Labour administration vowed to complete the hospital reconstruction, but in December 2013, Prime Minister Dr. Kenny Anthony informed the nation that government had put in a request for grant funding from the government of Taiwan to complete works on the long overdue St. Jude Hospital reconstruction project. The Prime Minister had led a delegation to Taiwan on a 5-day official visit to that country, where he presented a number of projects to President Ma Ying-jeou for funding consideration. Chief among them, additional aid for St. Jude's reconstruction. Taiwan had already contributed some 22 million EC dollars. However, the cost of completing the project had skyrocketed to $125 million. Prime Minister Anthony explained that given the difficulties in raising capital, government turned to Taiwan. However, President Ma reserved committing to funding. Some months later, in 2014, the Taiwan leader informed that a loan would be issued to St. Lucia to complete the project. So why the $125 million cost for the reconstruction? Dr. Anthony explained that the desire to afford residents in the south of the island full access to a modern medical complex contributed to a soaring cost underestimated by the former UWP administration.
And it was well known that they did not allocate sufficient funds to complete the hospital. Then, of course, as you progress, it became very clear that what may not have been initially intended had to be done. For example, it was unfortunate, to say the least, that you're going to repair one block of the hospital, but you're going to leave asbestos ceiling on the next block, when everybody in St. Lucia know full well that there are inherent dangers and inherent problems with asbestos. So along the way, the decision was taken to completely remove the asbestos and retrofit that part of the hospital. Then it became very clear that once you're going to retrofit that part of the hospital, then you will have to take care of ancillary facilities. So I think it was always understood from the very outset that the cost of reconstructing the hospital was underestimated and had to be dealt with. That's why at the budget earlier this year, I made it absolutely clear that the amount we are talking about is not 45 million or 60 million. We are talking easily about $125 million.
And the project consultant, Shanta King, further explained that an executive decision was taken to scrap initial plans of building a new hospital at Jude due to the already escalating cost of rehabilitating St. Jude's.
So what ended up happening, the two approaches, the renovation plus a completely new facility, was amalgamated into one, and hence the current cost in terms of this single community hospital that is going to be completely reconstructed at the original site. So if you go back to the historical information, you will see that all of that had been explained. However, some of the cost information was not available at the very onset.
And in February 2014, Health Minister Alvina Reynolds delivered news that everyone had been anxiously awaiting. St. Jude's Hospital was set to return to its rightful home by September of that year. She made the announcement as she toured the new facility, hailing the progress made.
And so far I have seen a lot of improvements, especially in the technical work, the various departments, surgical, medical, the restaurant, there are areas that will need work, of course, but these are minor ones. But there's a lot of work has been pushed, and there is more to be done, and I look forward to the next few months where work will really be pushed, night and day to reach that point where at least towards the end of the third quarter of the year, that we can have St. Jude move to its home.
And a year and a half later, Prime Minister Dr. Kenny Anthony, in a short address to the nation on St. Lucia's withdrawal from the hosting of the 2017 Commonwealth Youth Games, informed that St. Jude's would not be move-in ready till late 2016. Moreover, the George Odlum Stadium, which the facility has been occupying, has deteriorated considerably, requiring some $15 million to rehabilitate. This is the CTV News. Stay with us. We're back after the break.